Well, we're celebrating today our good buddy, Khambrel Marshall. This is Khambrel Marshall Day here at KPRC 2. Literally his final day. I can't believe I'm saying this, working for KPRC 2.
His final day, yes. It is time now for much deserved retirement. And just minutes ago, he was on KPRC 2 Plus now at 9 to take a look back at his career.
What are you going to miss the most here, and what are you most looking forward to?
Well, I'm going to miss the people.
Yeah.
I think more than anything else. And people who've left here already, they've told me that that's what they miss as well. And I think that's pretty clear because I'm really into individuals. You know, I'm into everybody's. I'm not nosy, but I just want to know how everybody's doing. Ask about your sons, ask about your dog. So that's just who I am. So I'm going to miss that part. But I'm not going to miss the requirement to be here 5 days a week and getting up at 2:30 in the morning on Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Rushing to make deadlines.
That's not going to, I'm not missing that at all. And so, interesting, the alarm went off this morning, and my wife says, "Why is your alarm going off?" And I said, "Honey,
not yet.
I still have one more day. After today, you know, tomorrow we won't set the alarm."
We're not there yet. Wow, so, can you imagine not setting an alarm again?
I can.
After so many years?
I practiced during Thanksgiving.
I practiced.
I practiced during Thanksgiving to see how that worked. It felt pretty good, actually.
You know, and I just
saw that picture there. Did you see the picture? There was a
What'd
picture they put up there of me on the set with, I'm not sure that, okay, that's Dominique, but I think they had someone on the set.
Well, we're moving towards that. So, like, what is this? What are these memories here that we're looking
that
at?
shot that you just saw, and this is in Miami now, by the way. That stuff is from Miami, where I was the primary anchor there, 5, 6, and 11 o'clock there. I look kind of young now.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, so I was doing stories as an anchor. We go
You
in the
haven't
community.
changed one bit.
Yeah.
No, you really
This
haven't.
is the shot I was looking at earlier that I saw, and that was with Frank and Dominique, and now that's Linda Laurel.
Linda,
back in the day, now we have the cameras in the studio temporarily, in the newsroom temporarily, but back then our studio cameras were in the newsroom. So all of that stuff you see in the background is me and Bill Baez at one of the, back in the day when we had the muscular dystrophy.
The telethon.
Jerry Lewis telethon here, which kind of went by the wayside. Everybody stopped doing those.
Across the country,
better ways to raise money, so they stopped all of that. This was our anchor team back when I was here. Chris Raggy is now in New York, and of course everybody else is kind of still around. I mean, Dominique and Bill and Linda are still in town, and we see them from time to time. So, but that was our little card that we put out.
I love looking back on
That's kind of neat.
That is cute.
It's really
good
neat.
stuff.
Didn't you mention that your first broadcast, your first anchoring was with Dominique?
Yeah. When I first got here, my regular shift was the noon, 4 and 5 with Dominique. So I'd come in 8, 9 o'clock, and we get ready. We do the noon, and we do the 4 o'clock, and we do the 5 o'clock.
What was your first like memorable report that you did when you got here? Do you remember?
I think one of the more memorable ones, we had Tropical Storm, I think, Allison, which was here. And it wasn't right as I got here, but it was within that first year or so where everything got shut down. We see video, we look back in videos, we see underneath 610, we see tractor trailers with the waters all the way up to the top and that sort of thing. And that was just a tropical storm. I was in meteorology then. I was a geek about meteorology then, but I was not in the meteorological team.
And it was here you made that transition.
I made the transition while I was here, I went to Mississippi State. They have a great program where they include physics and calculus and those kinds of things that scared me away from it when I was in college, because I was going to look at it in college. From high school.
A journalist would run right away from that.
I know, absolutely. This is what I want to do. I want to do this. And I started looking at the colleges, and the prerequisites were physics and calculus and all this other kind of stuff. And I said, you know,
I don't speak that.
Yeah, right? That's a foreign language,
So sociology would be better. So I was a history major initially. Then I was a sociology major. So broadcasting was my third major. So that's what I tell my grandkids and my kids as they were growing up, that you can make decisions and you can change, that there's plenty of time. And when you look back,
that's a great
you
lesson.
realize that, you know, there really wasn't an awful lot of time. But when you're going through it, it seems like, I got to make a decision. I got to do something right now. And that's not the way it is sometimes. You get through with it and you move on, and it's I look back on it, it's been great to be able to have made the changes I made. Some of you have to make.
Yeah. One observation I had, and
I'm gonna be sleeping.
one observation I had, and I want you.
I didn't mean for it to come out quite like that, but
One observation I had, and I want our viewers at home to be aware of, is, even on your days off, you were here at your desk, not coming in at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. He was here at 4 a.m. working on that show. And I know that show means so much to you. One observation I had, and it's a question that I wanted to ask you about. When we look back on your career, I noticed there was a point in which you switched from the traditional tie to a bow tie. What's the reason
What's the
there?
history?
Yeah, I want to know why.
well, it was very actually just kind of a normal thing that happened. I did a lot of I still have done for a long time MC events and things like that. And that's one of the things I get a joy out of. And one night, this is when I was working the weekend evening weather shift, and I had an event to do in between shows, but I was a formal event, and I had my tux on, and it was a festive. In fact, it was around Christmas time when this happened, and I didn't have time to change. So I came back and I did the 10 o'clock with my bow tie and everything else, and the reaction was immediate about, hey, we really like that. And I said,
I might be onto something.
maybe I'll do it. But and then I was buying the pre-tied ties because because I didn't know how to tie bow tie. And so I started wearing them on a regular basis, just the month of December.
Yeah.
And I remember, I never will forget, I was in the bathroom washing my hands, and my general manager was in there, and he said, hey, what's with those bow ties? And I said, what do you mean?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I could tell the tone was,
Right.
I don't know if I like that or not. And I said, Jerry, a lot.
I was going to ask if this sounds
I said, Jerry, a lot of women love this bow tie.
That's all you had to say, right?
Right, because that's the demo.
Right, yes,
I
of
mean,
course.
if women love what we do, we do it. And so that's when I started doing it, and I had to learn how to tie a bow tie, which was, interesting. But thanks to YouTube, I was able to do that.
Did they have him do it live on air?
It's not easy. I mean, the only time I have to do one.
These are the clip-ons.
These are the clip-on. The only ones I do them by hand is when I have a formal event like Khambrel's talking about. And it takes me about 5 or 6 tries. My wife will tell you, she leaves the room. She's like, I don't want to be around this guy while he's. Oh, there you go, straighten it up. Straighten up and fly right. But he's worn them so well.
I know, that's his thing.
I mean, he's always been handsome, but then he's throwing the bow
Always,
ties.
yeah, the bow
Sharply
ties were
dressed.
it.
Golly. I'm gonna miss
Can't
this
believe
guy.
it's already here.
And we're going to make him work every show the rest of the day.
Yep.
You're not going to go out without a little punishment. We do have, but we're also going to feed him lunch to keep his energy level up for the. Oh, and so everybody gets lunch, not just Khambrel. That's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so lunch is at 12:30. I don't think the public's invited. And then at 1 o'clock, because you can't get in. And then at 1 o'clock, you'll be able to watch Khambrel talking with Derek Shore on Houston Life. We'll see what they chat about, and then he'll be on again later today at 5. Just want to make sure we get him in all the different audience, because everybody, if you've watched KPRC2 for any amount of time, you know Khambrel Marshall.
Yes.
And you want a chance to say, I can't tell you how many people have come up to me in the last week since we initially mentioned it and say, he's really retiring?
I know.
It's like nobody can believe it.
Right.
People that have been watching 20 years, the whole time, say, what?
It's been
Sorry.
a long time.
We tried to change his
long,
mind.
Successful career. Yeah. It's not goodbye. It's see you later.
See you at lunch.
Yes.